Cold, Shadow, Poison, Flurry build for a rogue. Pure perfection as far as the speed goes. The only faster build would be Dance of Knives. Immediately after it, if you wanna power farm the game, Flurry is the way to go. Why I say so? Even though this build is off meta and it's not capable of going above 130 in the pet, even with perfect gear, it's completely capable of speed farming the entire freaking game, including pinnacle bosses, Helltide, Infernal Hordes. It performs extremely well, and the reason you TP with Flurry on enemies, and it's extremely fun and very fast. So if you wanna grab that gold, those crafting materials, and if you don't wanna invest way too much into itemization, this is the build for you. Let's not waste time, and let's go. As always, we're gonna start from Specialization. We're using Inner Sight, and this is how we resolve energy issues. Now, plenty will say, is that Mask of Nirmitruk a must on a Flurry? No, it's not, because Inner Sight will provide us with basically unlimited amount of energy. So basically, the mask is not needed. Even though it's a big power spike, you won't lose energy and you'll never trigger that passive. And that's why we opt in for the Call of the Nameless. Anyways, that explains why we're using Inner Sight. As far as the mercs go, Rahir into Taunt and Variana into, of course, attack speed. Now, what about itemization? Call of the Nameless is the way to go. Now, whether that's gonna be a unique Call of the Nameless or a mythic, it really doesn't matter as long as it's Call of the Nameless, as long as you get that imbuement skills in plus. All resists, dex, life, armor, whatever, you're good to go. For the imprint on the armor, we're gonna put flat damage reduction against poisoned enemies and you receive less damage from them, and stats are classic, all resists, armor, life, dex, temper with life. For the cow, I also tempered it with life, and as far as the runes go, it's Pak Vex, +1 to all skills. Green gems, dexterity gems go into armor. Now, for the gloves, damage over time, vulnerable damage multiplier, poison damage multiplier, or all damage multiplier with dex is what we want. On crafting, imbuement potency. And for the imprint, dealing non-physical damage will increase attack speed and lucky hit chance up to 60%. For the defense, on the pants, we want Shrouded Gift with max out move speed, life, dex, and whenever you cast Concealment and you are in stealth non-stop, you get nearly 40% damage reduction. For the runes, Buck and Q, Earth and Bulwark, additional barrier, you'll have Fortify, you'll have Barrier, and you'll have Huge Life. For the boots classic, the more stars the better, and it's very simple. Dex, life, armor, all resists, move speed for the temper. As far as the imprint goes, stealth, well stealthed, you heal and you fortify. For the bow now, we use the imprint where enemies take increased damage over time up to 10 seconds. It's going up to 25% when maxed out on a weapon. And for the stats, classic, dex, life, damage over time, all damage multiplier, poison damage multiplier, whatever. That's how it's supposed to look like. Green gems go inside, as well as in smaller weapons. Now, for the smaller weapons, Kanjar, definitely the best one. Damage over time, all damage multiplier, life, dex, poison damage multiplier, cold damage multiplier, shadow damage multiplier, whatever. Okay, with imbue potency for a temper. And for the other one, Etna, same like Kanjar. We want damage over time, we want imbuement skills, we want imbued potency for a temper, as well as on Ashira's Kanjar. So basically they're the same, yeah. Now for the ring, I'm using Ring of Starless Skies here. And there are multiple options until you get Ring of Starless Skies. One of the options would look like this. So if you don't have Ring of Starless Skies, you can go with imbuement potency on a ring, and then you go with increased damage to vulnerable and 20% more to knock down enemies. Very good aspect, okay, for Ring of Starless Skies. That's for you to decide. The Ring of Starless Skies basically resolves energy issues here, and the stats that we want are those that you see on both rings: dex, attack speed, vulnerable damage multiplier, damage over time multiplier, poison damage multiplier, all damage multiplier, okay, with imbued potency. And for the other ring, we're using Shadow Clone's imprint, same stats like for the rings I already shown, and imbued potency for a temper. Over there, non-physical damage increases by 60%. And now for the amulet, what we want is all skills, imbuement skills, then we want damage over time, we're gonna ramp it up with Masterwork, and we take all damage multiplier for the fourth stat, with imbuement potency on temper. Now for the first main imprint, I'm using Inner Sight, goes up to 300% and deals 150% increased damage. This is how we kill bosses, tankier enemies, elites, isolated enemies, pinnacle bosses especially, and so on. This is how you burst them with this imprint. And for the second imprint, in a cube, we're gonna take increased damage while enemies are unstoppable. And we ramp up diamonds in all of our trinkets, yeah. Now that would be the itemization. What about the talismans? Talismans basically imbued potency everywhere, and we're gonna use Spellbound Steel. And for the other one, we're gonna use Sightless with imbuement skills. And for the Steel, of course, if you can get stat bonuses by -1, that's the way to go. Until you get it, your primary one would be Spellbound. For the unique charm, until you get the mythic seal, what is actually good to have is Endurant Fate. So you become even more tankier and basically you cannot die. If you don't find yourself dying and you don't need Endurant Fates, then you can easily switch for a charm with Blood Mad Idol imprint. And that's about it. For the talismans, pretty much it's simple, you don't need Marksman, Cutthroat, or any of that. Okay, maybe if you can't get Imbue, then you go with Core or Cutthroat, because you're gonna use Flurry, alright? Maybe, but try to get imbuement everywhere. Now what about a skill 3? How do we level this up? So, we skip basics, we go to Core, we pick Flurry, we max it out, then we take Transporter. This is how we fly around the map, TPing on enemies and one-shotting them, yeah. With the upgrades, it's cast speed into damage increase. Then we're gonna go down to the agility. We're just gonna take dash, and we're gonna take primer upgrade on a dash with charges and cooldown reduction into weaken upgrades. Now, on the subterfuge, of course, we're gonna take Dark Shroud, and we're gonna take Shadow Dancer. For the upgrades, it's move speed and consume chance. Down here, with concealment, we only gonna take recuperate, and we move down. The imbuement, we take all, so we take poison imbuement and we max it out. This is the main damage source into toxic touch. We take shadow imbuement into endemic. Talismans give all upgrades. We take cold imbuement into buffered battery. We go down, we take ulti, shadow clones. Upgrades are weakened and vulnerable into cooldown, and we go with Relentless. And that's about it, pretty much simple skill tree. Now what about Paragon? This is very simple. So on a first board, we're taking up Efficiency. You see how it's supposed to look like. We transfer to the second board. On the second board, it's Eldritch Bounty, and we're gonna use Devious. Then we go to the third board. Here is gonna be Exploit Weakness, and we're gonna use Tracker. On a fourth board, up here, we're gonna use Dance Macabre, and the glyph will be Bane. And for the final and fifth board, we're gonna use Chip Shot, and the glyph will be Kenny. Pause when you need to. I'll scroll slowly so you know what to position where, and that's about it. Again, the build is not as OP as Rain of Arrows or as a Penetrating Shot, because those are meta on a rogue, but if you don't like playing marksman builds and you wanna play melee builds, in-your-face builds, Flurry is by far the best, because even Dance of Knives is basically marksman, you shoot from afar, even though you throw knives instead of shooting with a bow. So all of the meta builds basically on a rogue right now are ranged builds. And if you really want to play a melee build, it's either Twisting Blades or Flurry. Flurry is faster than Twisting Blades. So we go by how fast the builds are on a rogue. It's Dance of Knives, then it's Flurry, and then it's Twisting Blades, and then the meta builds, Penetrating Shot and Rain of Arrows. But definitely Flurry is the way to power farm, accumulate items in your chest with Flurry basically, very easy to assemble, and then go for the meta build. Alright, that's gonna be that for this build on a rogue. If you found the video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Thanks for watching.